Compulsory education refers to a period of education that is required of all people and is imposed by the government. This education may take place at registered schools or at other places. Compulsory school attendance means that parents are obliged to send their children to a certain school. The International Covenant on Economics requires within a reasonable number of years the principle of compulsory education free of charge for all countries except Britain's purpose. During the late 18th and early 19th centuries, most schools in the United States did not mandate regular attendance. In many areas, students attended school for no more than 3 to 4 months out of the year. At the start of the 20th century, the purpose of compulsory education was to master physical skills which are necessary and can be contribute to the nation. It also installed values of ethics and social communication abilities in teenagers. It would allow immigrants to fit in the unconscious society of a new country. Nowadays, a compulsory education has been considered as a right of every citizen in many countries. It is mostly used to advance the education of all citizens, minimize the number of students who stop going to school because of family economic reasons, and balance the education differences between rural and urban areas. The overall correlation between the levels of access to education in a country and the skills of its student population is a weak. This disconnect between education access and education quality may be the consequence of weak capacity to implement education policies or lack of information on the part of policymakers on how to promote student learning. In other situations, government might be intentionally motivated to provide education for reasons that have nothing to do with improving the knowledge and skills of citizens. On the other hand, in countries with a republican system of government, being educated is necessary and important for every citizen. Throughout history, compulsory education laws have typically been the latest form of education intervention created by states. In general, governments in Europe and Latin America begins to intervene in primary education an average of 107 years before decommunization as measured by polity. Compulsory education laws, despite being one of the last measures introduced by central government seeking to regulate primary education, nevertheless were implemented in average of 52 years before decommunization as measured by polity and 36 before universal male suffrage. Historically, there is a trend of mass education being introduced in the aftermath of civil wars. According to a 2022 study, non-democracy frequently introduced mass education to teach obedience and respect for authority. History equated to medieval times, compulsory education was not unheard of in ancient times. However, instances are generally tied to royal, religious, or military organizations, substantially different from modern notions of compulsory education. Credited with having popularization the concept of compulsory education in Western intellectual thought. Plato's relation was straightforward. The ideal city would require ideal individuals, and ideal individuals would require an ideal education. The popularization of Plato's ideas began with the wider and the translation of Plato's works by claiming in the engagement philosopher known for his own work on education, to get a good idea of public education through it. Plays Republic. It is not a political trait as those who merely judge books of their title think, but it is the finest, most beautiful work on education even written.